So, for today's deep dive, we're going deep, right into the heart of Taiwan's national parks.
Sounds good.
We're talking trails, wildlife, those breathtaking landscapes, but we're doing it the deep dive way.
Right. Cutting to the chase. No time wasted.
This is for the listener who wants to be in the know, like really quickly. I mean, who wants to spend hours sifting through articles and guidebooks?
I know I don't. We've already done that for you.
Exactly. We've got all those trail maps, the bird watching logs, research on how those seasons really changed the landscape, and we're distilling it down to the most interesting, most useful stuff.
The good stuff, the nuggets. So you get a real grasp of what makes Taiwan's parks so unique.
And maybe even a few aha moments along the way, right?
Absolutely. That's what we're aiming for.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about hiking. Taiwan's national parks offer so many different kinds of trails.
Oh, a huge variety, really.
Yeah, I was reading about volcanic landscapes, trails that are like steeped in history and geology. You've got alpine ascents, peaceful forest walks, cross-park treks for the truly adventurous.
Don't forget the accessible trails,
Yeah.
making nature enjoyable for everyone.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's amazing, right? This tiny island has such incredible diversity packed into it.
It is. You can go from the steaming volcanic areas in Yangmingshan to the dramatic Taroko Gorge, like in just a few hours.
Wow, and each area has its own unique hiking experience.
Exactly. Which means there's something for everyone, no matter your fitness level or what you're interested in.
So let's get specific. What about Yangmingshan?
Okay, so in Yangmingshan, you have trails like Xiaoyoukeng to Qixingshan.
Okay.
Imagine hiking past these fumaroles, these vents releasing steam from the volcano, and sulfur vents.
It's like another planet.
It is pretty otherworldly. And when you reach Qixingshan, you get these panoramic views. It's the highest peak in Taipei.
Amazing.
And then, to top it off, you can relax in the hot springs at Daxueshan afterward.
Oh, wow. Perfect ending to a hike.
Definitely. And, that volcanic activity in Yangmingshan, it's crucial to understanding Taiwan's geology.
Oh, yeah, I was reading about that.
It's created unique habitats, which means unique plants and animals, too.
That makes sense. Okay, now Taroko Gorge.
Ah, Taroko.
That Zhuilu Old Trail sounds both incredible and terrifying. Narrow cliff ledges, just, barely 2 feet wide sometimes.
Oh, views, though. Straight down into the gorge.
Wow.
It was originally a hunting path for the Taroko people, so there's so much history there.
But you need a permit, right?
Yes, definitely. They have to manage the number of hikers for safety and to protect the trail.
That's good. What about something a little less intense?
Right, well, there's the Lushui-Holiu Trail. Still in Taroko, beautiful gorge views.
But maybe a bit less heart-stopping.
A little more, let's say, approachable.
Okay, great.
But I think the permit system for trails like Zhuilu highlights something important. How do we balance letting people experience these amazing places while making sure we protect them?
It's a tough question, right? How do we ensure access, but also conservation?
Exactly. It's a balancing act. Okay, now let's climb some mountains.
Okay, let's do it.
Yushan National Park, home to Taiwan's highest peak, Yushan.
Oh, I've heard about this one.
Yushan Peaks Trail, that's the classic. It's a challenging hike. You need a permit. But the sunrise views from the summit are legendary.
Wow.
And along the way, you're hiking through fields of rhododendrons, these beautiful flowers, and dwarf bamboo forests.
Seems amazing. And those high alpine environments, they have such unique plants and animals, right?
Absolutely. And Yushan being the highest, it's a really special place for those species.
Makes sense. What about Daxueshan?
Daxueshan's all about forest. You've got this Yushan Sacred Tree Trail leading to this ancient giant Formosan cypress.
Wow.
Really mystical, especially when it's misty. Then there's the Mianyuline Trail, which follows an old railway line, all overgrown now.
Oh, that sounds cool.
It's so evocative. You hike through tunnels, past moss-covered tracks, a real blend of nature and history.
And a reminder of how nature can reclaim spaces, right?
Exactly.
Okay, any trails for the long-distance hikers?
Oh yeah, the Dongman Trail connects two forest areas, Dongyanshan and Menyuan. 16, 17 kilometers.
Wow.
Pretty peaceful, not too crowded. And then, of course, we have to mention the Neidong Waterfall Trail.
Ah, yes. Accessible for everyone.
Exactly. Barrier-free path, so everyone can experience the beauty of those waterfalls.
I love that. So we've got volcanic landscapes, gorges, alpine trails, forest paths.
It's pretty remarkable, the variety.
It is. And it's not just the geology, right? There's this whole cultural aspect to hiking in Taiwan.
Oh, definitely. We'll get to that. But first, let's talk about the birds.
Okay, the birds. I'm ready.
So Taiwan's national parks are full of birds. And you can find so many different types.
Like what?
Well, you've got endemic species, meaning they're only found in Taiwan.
Wow, okay.
Then native species, those found naturally in Taiwan. You have introduced species, which, well, sometimes they cause problems.
Yeah.
And then migratory birds, those that are just passing through.
Oh, right, stopping on their long journeys.
Exactly. And then you've got wetland specialists and the impressive raptors, like hawks and eagles.
Okay, so let's break it down. Endemic and native birds first.
Okay, so keep an eye out for the Taiwan whistling thrush. You'll find them near streams in Yangmingshan and Taroko.
Okay.
Then there's the Taiwan euhina, super common in those mid-elevation forests, usually in flocks.
Oh, fun!
Yeah. Then there's the rufous-capped babbler, this tiny bird in the undergrowth of forests, and the black bulbul, really common even in cities.
Wow.
And then you have the gray treepie in woodlands and forest edges, and of course the Formosan blue magpie,
Oh, yeah, that one's iconic.
especially in Yangmingshan. They've done a lot of conservation work to protect them there.
That's fantastic. Okay, what about the introduced species, the ones that cause problems?
Yeah, so the Javan myna and common myna, those are really common in cities and lowlands, and they're actually out-competing the native crested myna.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a problem. And then there's the black-collared starling, becoming more and more common in open areas.
So these introduced species, they're disrupting the balance, right?
They are. They can outcompete native birds for food and even change the habitat.
That's a real concern. Okay, what about the migratory birds?
You'll often see little egrets and eastern cattle egrets near rice paddies and wetlands,
Okay.
the ruddy turnstone winters along the coast, and the wood sandpiper stops by freshwater habitats during migration.
So Taiwan's wetlands are really important for these birds, right? Like a resting spot on their long journey.
They are, yeah, crucial stopover points.
Okay, and what about the raptors?
You might see the crested serpent eagle soaring above forests. They're apex predators, so they help keep the ecosystem balanced.
Okay, cool.
And then there's the Malayan night heron, pretty common in the Taipei Botanical Gardens.
Oh, nice.
A couple more to mention. The Swinhoe's pheasant, a really rare one, found in the high mountains of Daxueshan.
Okay.
And the greenback tit, active little bird in those mid-altitude forests.
I'm making a mental note of all these, so lots of bird diversity. But you mentioned a trend of more and more invasive species in the lowlands.
Yeah, that's a bit worrying. It's really putting pressure on the native bird populations, especially near those urban areas.
Okay, so that's birds. Now let's talk about the people. Hiking in Taiwan isn't just a hobby, right? It's like a way of life.
It really is. It's fitness, adventure, connecting with nature. It's all intertwined.
It seems like everyone hikes in Taiwan. Why is that?
Well, first look at the landscape. It's incredibly mountainous. Over 160 peaks, over 3,000 meters high.
Wow, that's a lot of mountains.
And the trails are well maintained and accessible. Plus, there's this strong community aspect. People hike together, share their experiences.
So it's social too.
Absolutely. And then there's the sheer variety of trails. You've got urban trails like the Taipei Grand Trail, high-altitude paths, and even historic trails used by indigenous communities.
It's amazing. There's something for everyone. I was reading about this guy, Choco Huan, the old mountain monkey.
Oh yeah, a legend. He spent his life advocating for better trails, mentoring climbers.
He even influenced the government to invest in hiking infrastructure.
That's right. He was instrumental in making hiking more accessible for everyone.
And that connects to Taiwan's broader fitness culture, right?
Oh, absolutely. Hiking is a huge part of that. And more than half of the population exercises regularly.
That's impressive. But with so many people hiking, doesn't that put pressure on the environment?
It does. It's a constant challenge.
Mm.
Managing those permits, maintaining the trails, and minimizing our impact on these fragile ecosystems.
Right. It's about finding that balance. Okay, next up, let's talk about how these parks change throughout the year.
Yes, the seasons. So much changes depending on the time of year.
And that affects the wildlife you might see, right?
It does. Migration, breeding cycles, the weather, it all plays a role.
Okay, so what about the birds? How do their patterns change?
In autumn and winter, you get the migratory birds arriving. Gray wagtails, brown thrushes, black-faced buntings.
Oh, right, escaping the cold from further north.
Exactly. They'll be in wetlands and even up in the mountains, and you'll see lots of little and cattle egrets gathering in the lowlands.
Okay.
Then, when spring and summer arrive, the resident birds become more active.
Yeah.
Taiwan blue magpies, Mikado and Swinhoe's pheasants, those elusive ones,
And the Formosan whistling thrush, you said they get louder in spring?
much more vocal.
So it's a real cycle, right?
Mm.
Migratory birds in winter, then the resident birds taking over in spring and summer.
It is, yeah.
Okay, what about the mammals?
So in winter, the Formosan sambar deer come down from the high mountains to places like Taroko and Yushan.
To find food, I imagine.
Exactly. And you're more likely to see Reeves muntjac and Formosan macaques, those monkeys, during winter.
Oh, okay.
Then, in summer, the Formosan black bears are up high in Yushan feeding on fruits and bugs.
Okay.
And you might see masked palm civets and red-bellied squirrels in the lower elevations.
So they move up and down the mountains depending on the season.
They do, to find the best food and temperatures. And it's not just birds and mammals. Amphibians and reptiles have their seasons, too.
Oh, right. Like when it's rainy or dry?
Exactly. During the rainy season, from May to September, you'll hear and see more frogs and toads near water.
Okay.
And snakes, like the Sotter's water snake, are more active then.
Oh, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, in the drier months, you're more likely to see lizards basking in the sun.
Okay, that's better.
And the amphibians will be hiding out to avoid drying up.
Makes sense.
Oh, and insects. Summer is peak butterfly season. You'll see lots of great Mormons, especially around Kelon.
Beautiful.
And cicadas are super loud in summer, too. Then in winter, most insects are much less active.
It's quieter then.
It is. And even in the wetlands and coastal areas, things change. Migratory birds stop over, and the activity of fish and shrimp changes with the seasons.
So knowing the best time to see certain wildlife is really important.
It is. And for the park rangers, it means they have to adapt, too.
Oh, right, like changing the rules depending on the season?
Exactly. They might restrict access to certain trails during bear foraging season, for example.
To keep both people and bears safe.
Exactly. And they monitor the wetlands to track the migratory birds.
So with all these seasonal variations, what are the best times to actually plan a hiking trip?
Well, if you want the best chance of good weather and clear skies, autumn is ideal. September to December.
Okay.
The typhoon season's usually over by then, so it's more stable. And the temperatures are mild, especially for those high-altitude hikes.
Sounds perfect. What about spring?
Spring's great, too, March to May. Beautiful flowers blooming everywhere, and the temperatures are comfortable.
Nice.
You might get some rain, but by then, most of the snow has melted in the mid-elevations.
Okay.
Summer, June to August, can be good for lower-altitude hikes, but watch out for afternoon thunderstorms.
And typhoons, right?
Yeah, there's still a risk then. Higher up, it's cooler in summer, but the weather can change really quickly.
Oh, that can be dangerous in the mountains.
It can. And winter, January and February, is best for lowland hikes and those hot springs.
Okay.
If you're thinking of alpine trails in winter, be prepared for snow and ice. You'll need crampons and a permit.
And those permits can be harder to get in winter, right?
It can be, yeah. And it's worth noting there are some regional variations.
Oh, right. Different parts of Taiwan will have slightly different weather patterns.
Exactly. Like in the north, in Yangmingshan, it can be foggy and rainy quite often. But autumn brings those amazing silver grass displays, and spring is full of flowers.
Okay.
In the central mountains, like Yushan, September and November is usually the most stable time for alpine hiking.
Okay.
And in the east, like Taroko, autumn's dry with great visibility, spring is lush and green, but summer comes with that typhoon risk.
So many things to consider.
There are. And remember, always check the permit requirements well in advance.
Right. Some trails require permits, especially the popular ones.
And be flexible. Mountain weather can change in an instant.
Always good advice.
Oh, and one last tip. If you want to avoid the crowds, don't go in late September to November or March to April.
Ah, those are the peak seasons, right?
They are. And it's also best to avoid any major holiday weekends.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's say we've planned our trip, we're out on the trail. What kind of wildlife are we actually likely to see?
Okay, so while you might not spot those super rare or elusive creatures, there are definitely some you have a good chance of encountering.
Okay, let's start with reptiles and amphibians.
You might see non-venomous snakes like the Sotter's water snake, or lizards like the yellow-mouthed chapalura.
And frogs.
Oh yeah, especially after rain, you're likely to see frogs near water, like the Taipei tree frog.
Okay, fun.
But remember, there are venomous snakes in Taiwan too.
Okay, good to know.
So always be careful, watch where you step.
Right. What about birds?
In the forests, you might spot the bamboo partridge or the Japanese white-eye.
Okay.
In grassy areas, the vinous-throated parrotbill is common. And near water or during migration, look out for little egrets or gray wagtails.
I'll be looking up.
And for mammals, you're likely to see red-bellied squirrels. Those are everywhere. And Formosan macaques, the monkeys.
Oh, I've heard they can be mischievous.
They can be. And you might see Reeves muntjac, those barking deer.
Okay.
The rarer mammals, like the Formosan pangolin and small Indian civet, those are much harder to spot.
They're probably hiding.
probably.
Oh,
And for insects, you might see the broad-tailed swallowtail butterfly, especially around Kalan.
beautiful.
And in the streams, look out for the Taiwan shoaljaw carp or the Caridina formosa shrimp.
So much to see.
There is.
Oh,
But always remember to be respectful of the wildlife. Keep your distance, don't feed them.
right. That's important for both our safety and theirs.
Exactly. And be cautious around any venomous creatures like snakes or even wasps and hornets.
Okay, noted.
And the best times for wildlife viewing are usually early morning or after rain.
Got it. I'll set my alarm clock.
Now, unfortunately, not all the wildlife in these parks is doing so well.
Oh, right. We need to talk about the endangered species.
Yes, some species are really relying on these protected areas for survival.
Like who?
Well, the Formosan black bear, Taiwan's largest land carnivore, is endangered.
Oh, no.
They're found in Yushan and Qixingshan National Parks, but there are fewer than 1,000 left. So sightings are really rare.
Wow, that's sad.
The Formosan sambar, a type of deer, is also vulnerable. They're found in Xiaoyoukeng.
Okay.
Then you have the Mikado pheasant and Swinhoe's pheasant, both endangered birds, also in Xiaoyoukeng.
Beautiful birds, but hard to find, I imagine.
Very elusive. And the crested goshawk, a rare raptor, nests in areas like Yushan.
Okay.
And even amphibians are threatened, like the Alishan salamander, found only in those high-elevation streams of Yushan.
So many species are struggling.
And it's not just animals. Plants and insects are endangered too, like the Taiwan sassafras tree, which is food for the broad-tailed swallowtail butterfly,
Oh, wow.
and Devol's balsamine, a critically endangered plant, both found in Xiaoyoukeng.
So even within these protected parks, these species are still facing threats.
They are. Climate change, habitat loss, it's a real challenge.
That's sobering.
It is. But our sources mention that guided tours in parks like Xiaoyoukeng and Yushan can be a good way to learn more about these endangered species.
Well, that's a good idea.
Even if you don't spot them, you can still learn about their challenges and what's being done to help.
And just being aware is so important, right?
Absolutely. And of course, respecting the park rules, supporting conservation efforts.
Right. Okay, so we've covered so much in this deep dive.
We have. It's been a real journey.
We've talked about those incredible hiking trails, the diverse birds you might see, the unique hiking culture in Taiwan.
And how the seasons change everything. The wildlife, the best time to visit.
We even talked about the creatures you might spot on the trails and those sadly endangered species.
From challenging volcanic hikes to those peaceful forest paths, from the colorful birds to the mammals moving with the seasons, Taiwan's national parks are truly special.
They are. And we hope we've given you, our listener, a good understanding of what makes them so special.
A deep dive without the information overload.
Exactly. We wanted to highlight those fascinating details, those things that make you go, wow, I didn't know that.
Exactly. We hope we've sparked your curiosity.
And maybe inspired you to plan a trip to Taiwan someday.
That would be great. But even if you never go, we hope you've gained a deeper appreciation for these incredible natural spaces.
For their beauty, their diversity, and their importance.
Absolutely. So, with all this in mind, we want to leave you with a question.
Okay, hit us with it.
Knowing the challenges these parks face, what do you think our responsibility is to protect them? Whether as hikers or just as people living on this planet?
That's a good question. What can we do to ensure these parks are still here for future generations?
And how will climate change affect the delicate balance of life in these parks? It's something to think about.
It is. Lots to ponder. Until next time.
Happy hiking.